We received a kind donation of 14 laptops for educating 500 Basti Yuva with computer training. Vishwa thanks the Rotary Midtown Club for connecting PrimeSoft Solutions, CSR to support the Vishwa Yuva Vikas program, a series of free computer training workshops conducted by Vishwa in the slum areas of Hyderabad. On Sunday, March 17, PrimeSoft Solutions stepped forward and donated 15 laptops for the Vishwa Yuva Vikas initiative.
Namaskaram. Good morning and welcome to Vishwa Talks. My name is Radhika. It's a great pleasure to have you all here. For those of you who attended a Vishwa Talk before, a warm welcome back. And for those of you who are joining us for the first time, here's a bit about Vishwa Talks. Vishwa Talks is a program to create awareness and inspire people to participate in social change. We invite experts to share their insights on various fields, including art and culture, healthcare, ecology and environment, education, and many more. Here, we discuss and explore diverse opinions, different perspectives, issues, problems, and their solutions. Each webinar is an interactive session with a deeper understanding of the topic at hand. If you miss any part of the session and if you would like to go through the previous sessions, please visit our website or Vishwatalks YouTube channel for a full library of past Vishwatalks. So today, let me introduce our keynote speaker, Ms. Sita Anand Vaidyam, to share her insights. Ms. Sita Anand Vaidyam works through Ananda, a foundation for holistic, healthy learning and living. Early childhood education, remedial therapy, sustainable living, and holistic welfare are some of her works. She is a remedial therapist who works with children with learning difficulties. Her articles on education, lifestyle, and sustainability have appeared in various newspapers and magazines. Ms. Sita Anand is a trained Carnatic vocalist. She composes and writes her own songs. Ms. Sita has written and composed many songs for children in 5 different languages that are Hindi, Telugu, English, Tamil, and Malayalam. She is also the author of Good Food, a guide to healthy cooking and eating, which has sold over 3 editions. She has been a recipient of COVID Warrior Award by Beyond Pension Association with Niti Aayog, a Government of India undertaking for her selfless work during the lockdown. Her latest book, Parenting Manual, has been listed as Amazon's bestseller in 2 categories. It is a testimony to the deep knowledge and experience she has in the field of early childhood. So before we get started, I would like to inform the audience that our speaker will be taking the questions from you after the main talk. So please leave your questions in the chat or use raise hand tool, and we will allow you to ask your questions in person. So without further ado, let us give a warm welcome to Ms. Sita Anand Vaidyam as she shares her insights in today's talk. Over to you, ma'am.
Namaskaram and thank you, Ram. I wish to begin with a song. It's also like a invocation or welcome. Golden sun arise, to thee I lift my eyes. With longing and with joy I wait to see thee pass thy morning gate. Welcome everyone. I would be happy if we could have this session especially more interactive. And also, I will not be able to see the comments on the chat box because of the power situation due to the rain. I am using my phone and not my laptop. So bear with me for that. And welcome to this session on music. I am going to start. I'm going to have another song in Telugu this time, just to set the mood of music in all your minds and hearts. వెలుగు ఇచ్చిన సూర్యుడు కాంతి నిండిన ఆకాశం ప్రేమ స్నేహం నిండింది చీకటి అంతా తొలగించి నూతన దినము వచ్చింది. What music can do, words and actions very often can't do. You will all agree with me that these two songs, they've kind of relaxed you and kind of caressed you without me or anyone touching you, isn't it? I don't know if you can agree with me on that. And send a thumbs up if on the chat box if you agree, so that I just know. We all know that we listen to music to get soothed and to also to feel relaxed. But today we're going to understand the role of music with regard to learning, also with regard to emotional health, and also physical health, mental agility, and how we can use music in various ways in our lives. Radhika, can we start the PowerPoint presentation, please? So just move on to the first slide.
Yes, ma'am, it's started.
Yeah, the first slide, please. Yeah. So this, our Vedas are called Shruti. Shruti actually means pitch. Everybody knows what is the meaning of Shruti. It is to have a voice, a place of the tone in your voice. We can have a low, a high tone, but the very fact that the Vedas, which are so sacred, are called Shruti. And also, even in the Bible, you will find references to the word and to music, and how music plays a very important role in, various religions, in all the religions actually. And musical notes, they have a lot of spiritual references in many instances. And music has been part of mankind, humankind, from very ancient times. We'll move to the next slide. Yes. So art basically is something that is unique to the human being. But of all the art forms, in music, man himself becomes the creator. When you sing, it is not something external. It is your own body becomes a musical instrument. And there's so much focus, there's so much happening internally when you're singing. We often take it for granted. But you can just imagine that if I have to sing in tune, I should be able to listen carefully. I should be able to reproduce the exact sounds that I hear. I should also remember the lyrics, the words. I should remember the sequences. I should also understand the context in which I'm singing and I'm in the environment. So a lot of things happen at the same time, and it's a beautiful way to start educating a child. We will see more reasons why. Yes, next one, please. Yes. So this is a picture of our inner ear. The inner ear is called the cochlea. I'll have the next slide also. Next slide, please. Yes, the spiral structure that you see on the left-hand side, that is actually the cochlea. You can see that arrow mark pointing cochlea. So that is our inner ear. And that inner ear, you will be surprised that from birth, it reaches its full size, in the sense that other organs, they are not fully developed when we are born. They grow. As we grow, they grow. But a few things in our body, we are born from the beginning with its full development. And one such is the cochlea, or the inner ear. This itself is a huge indication of how important sound is. Sound is something, noise is different from sound. So sound is something that has been regarded as sacred. And the ear plays a huge role in our capacity to learn more than all other sense organs. Next slide, please. Yeah, so this is an intersection of cross-section of the cochlea. And one more slide, please. Yes. Now, what you see here is called the vestibular system. They are the three semicircular canals which are in charge of our capacity to balance. If we have to stand erect, if we have to ride a bicycle, we need this ability to balance, isn't it? So this balancing capacity in us is brought out by this vestibular, these three semicircular canals. You can go to the previous slide again. Now, one more slide, please. Previous slide, sorry. Yes. Now, can you see that this cochlea is touching, it's just adjacent to the three semicircular canals at the top. Can you see semicircular canals written? That is the vestibular, and the cochlea is touching that. So if we need to achieve balance, we need a very good ear. We need a very good, strong cochlea. The two are very closely related. In young age, we don't train one in isolation with the other. We train them together. It's very important. And music, therefore, is an integral part of early childhood, especially. And even in later years, it's very important. We'll now move on to all the slides, like we've seen all the slides. So can we just go ahead? Next one, and then the next one too. Yeah, the next one. Yes. So in this diagram, it's quite clear that the cochlea is touching the vestibular. Yeah, next slide, please. Yes. Now, why is music very important in learning? Number one, it helps concentration and to be present. So when I'm singing a particular note, say if I start with you need to be present to sing along with me. If you have to reproduce the same sound, you need to be present with me. And otherwise, it will not match what the sound that I'm producing. So in order to sing with me, you need to be present. I can't be dreamy. And as we all know, in the initial years, children tend to be dreamy. And music is a beautiful way of bringing them slowly, nudging them into being present without shocking them, waking them up with a shock. Very gently, the focus and concentration is brought out without shocking them or without being very stern with them. Music will automatically lure children into being present. And the second is it improves physical health. Now, various studies have been done on the physical body, and even with sick children in hospitals. And they found that when music is being played in hospital wards, um, patients, they heal faster, they become healthier faster. Now, when a sick patient can become healthier faster, if we are already healthy, if you're not sick, can you imagine that this music is bound to do us good? Do you agree? And the other is that it aids optimum brain development. Um, this is something that is more and more researched. And I want to cite the research of one such study done in Munich, where they took two sets of children, and one set received a lot of math lessons. Um, maths, they were given intense math coaching, and the other group was subjected to more music lessons and fewer math lessons. They also received the same math lessons, but fewer classes and not so intense. They had more music lessons. And at the end of 2 months, they found that the group that received music lessons was able to perform better. Their errors, math calculating errors, were fewer, and they were able to solve the problems faster. So it's a very detailed study on what music can do. It can awaken certain, there are various videos and studies that you can find on the net where certain parts of the brain, they light up, they wake up when music is played. And the development of the inner ear, I've already spoken about the importance of the inner ear, how it is very important for balance. And balance is something that is an extremely important sense that is required for us throughout life for performing various functions. When I say balance, it's not just physical balance, but even emotional balance. When we don't have the physical balance, then the more subtle nuances of balance, like clarity in thinking, balance in feeling, like you're emotionally balanced, that kind of balance doesn't come about. And so the physical balance is very important. And for that, the inner ear, training the inner ear through music is a very convenient way and an easy way. And the vestibular stimulation, we spoke about it, stress release. Sorry. Sensory integration. I already spoke about sensory integration in a nutshell when I said that when I'm singing and you're singing along with me, you have to remember the lyrics. There's memory happening, and there's a sequence that you need to follow. And very often, like when I started the class, I was doing gestures along with my singing. So there's action happening, there's physical movement. I'm sitting here because it's a session on Zoom, but if I were to do a physical class, I would actually physically move while doing the song. And so there would be physical movement as well with the children. And all this together is multisensorial learning. And when learning happens this way, it's very deep and it's very effective. And it is complex and it's not just very simple. Yeah, next slide, please. Yes. Music in learning, it helps in developing language. You all know that even first-time English speakers, how do we introduce language? We give nursery rhymes and songs, and they sing it in a tune, and then they get the meaning of the words that they speak. Vocabulary comes in through music much more easily. Languages can be learned so much more easily through music. Memory. Have you all noticed that, say, for example, math tables, when they're set in a particular rhythm, in a very sing-song tune, then it's faster to remember rather than, to just say it. But when it's said in a specific rhythm or a tune, it's easier to recall. Math. Now, math and music have a very, very strong connection. Those of you who play a percussion instrument will all the more relate to this statement of mine. So, when you play a percussion instrument, there's a lot of fraction involved. When we say taka, taka, demi, taka, takita, they're all like fractions, they're all division of time. So that is so close to calculations. So when you can grasp in a very subtle way the speed at which something is said or the interval in which a note is played or sung, that's so in tune with what math does. There's a place value, there is interval, there are patterns, there's sequencing. That's what math is all about. This after this after this. And there's a place value. And even in our notes, there is a place value. If we can understand this in the realm of music, math becomes easier. And it's no wonder that in that study that the students who receive more math, more music lessons excelled in math. Discipline. Now, this is a very interesting thing that I have observed in my experience, that when I used to teach children below 7 years, I hardly had to say things like, now all of you get up, stand in a line, or now all of you put your books aside and do the next activity. I just had to sing a song that I would do for them to stand on a line. I would just have to sing a song for them to clear their tables. I would just sing a song so that they can put their bowls on the table and start serving food. So it's a beautiful way without treating them like cattle, or if I may say so. If instead of saying, hey, do this, hey, do this, hey, do this, we're like how we manage cows and goats, like go, you're just doing that. That's how I feel. It's so undignified. These are children, they're humans. So we need to treat them with dignity. If I just sing a song, hand in hand we go and play in the sand, I just have to use this small one line. So everybody would, leave they'll start forming a line with holding their hands and then walk out of the class without any noise, without anything. And it's so beautiful. It's so dignified, isn't it? And this is not just about making a line, but even if I say, today is our drawing day, today is our drawing day. And then all the other books will go in, they will bring the drawing book out, they will bring out the crayons, and that's all I have to do. I don't have to say, now it's drawing time, now it's time for you to take out your crayons, take out your drawing notebook. Nothing, just a small cue. Music can be wonderful for discipline. This is with very young kids. But even when I go for teacher training sometimes, say after a tea break, people are very excited about what they're hearing for the first time, and they're discussing, and then I want them to come back in class. I can just sing. I can just make one note, la, 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 or I can just say, I can just clap my hands rhythmically, and everybody would just join in. And I feel that music can be used in this way to have a more dignified way of disciplining people. And rather than speaking harshly, we don't need to do all that. Music can just bring about a discipline. Just you can have a repertoire of songs that you have for each activity, like for going out of class, for coming back to class, for say good morning, or if you want the noise levels to come down, you can sing a particular song. And you can also sing a song in different volumes. Like, it's not as if music needs to always be very, very slow and relaxing. It needs to be peppy and exciting also. But then we can have this polarity when we sing something loud, and then we also say, and you can bring that polarity, and without you realizing, you just have the class in your hands. And music can do this for you very, very easily. Sequential learning. Now, sequential learning, which is something we take for granted, does not happen very easily. And of late, I work with children with learning difficulties, and I find that sequencing is something that of late many children have a problem with. Now, sequential learning is very important for reading, for writing, for math, for understanding a whole lot of things. Cause and effect in science, everything needs a foundation in sequential thinking, sequential learning. And in music, it's so easy to bring this understanding. The notes come one after the other, the lines come one after the other. So it is a very unconscious learning of sequential learning that happens in music. And of course, it's a great joy to sing, isn't it? I have come across very, very few people who don't respond positively to music. And I was just watching a few videos that were on when I was singing. When I did that note, I didn't move, I didn't sway or something, but I saw so many of you doing this, automatically. And it is just something that the body actually moves according to sound. Now, I just want to bring about, I want to mention about an instrument called Chadni plate. I'm sorry that I didn't put it on the slides. It's called Chadni, Chadni, Chadni plate. It's a very thin metal plate on which they spread fine granules of sand, and then they produce music, or like say sound, any sound, preferably some music. And they found that the sand particles, they form different shapes. Now, this is something that is available on the net, and you can see it easily. I could also share a video later. And it's amazing how sound can alter the shape. Now, our organs are all of different shapes. Now, when the right sounds, we are subjected to the right, we are exposed to right sounds, obviously there will be an effect on the shapes inside our bodies. And that is one of the reasons cited in researches that physical health improves through music. Yeah. Next slide. Yes, I think this is quite self-explanatory. The sound processing begins in the brain stem. And also your heart rate. Many of us feel very relaxed while listening to music. Here again, there is an institute called Institute of Heart Math, the Heart Math Institute. And this Heart Math Institute, I have come across it in Australia, and they have proven that when the heart rate is slower and when your breathing is relaxed, your brain functions better. And when music has this effect on you, definitely the brain will function in a better way. So when music calms you down, like I said, it's like a caress without anyone touching you. Certain notes, they're so soothing, and automatically your body relaxes, your muscles, they expand. When we are thinking for a long time, or when we are using our cognitive brain and doing some work, we tend to get, I'm using a very exaggerated movement, but we tend to close up. When we listen to music, we actually expand. And this is a very healthy way. Have you all noticed that when you're very stressed, you tend to do these kind of movements? You try to, expand, and you just shake out that tension in your body. This is what music would do. So if we could intersperse our entire day with music, this is a very healthy way to de-stress. We don't have to do something extra special. And even though it's a session on music, I cannot emphasize the importance music, then it's doubly effective to de-stress you, to relax you, and to also make you more focused on and be present. Yeah, next slide, please. Am I going a little fast? Also because the power situation is a little tricky, and I don't want to waste time. In case I'm going too fast, please let me know in the chat box. But we will have ample time to discuss and take questions, which is also a good thing. Yes, psychological and neuroscientific studies provide um, the evidence of the role of music learning in cognitive development, the development of musical abilities associated with other cognitive skills and academic achievement. We've spoken about this, but you can have a closer look at that diagram, which shows, the various parts of the brain and how each part can light up, and how music can activate all these different zones in the brain, so that we are working in a coordinated manner. Yes, next slide, please. When to use music? Yes, I will. I will wet my throat. And thank you for that reminder. Yes, in daily life, you can use music to begin the day. Um, we all know that the first few moments, they kind of set the pattern for the day. When you wake up with the stress and when you wake up with tension, it will just carry through. It's very important to be relaxed in the morning, to set the right note, if I may say, for the day. And so if we can begin with music, it's a very, very beautiful habit to create. And during the day, of course, if you are fortunate to be working with children, then it's easy to incorporate it. But even otherwise, even if you're working on the system in an office, it's good to have background music being played. Now, there's been a lot of debate about whether live music is better, or recorded music is bad. See, we move with the times, and it's not possible to have live music all the time. We can't afford it also. And so any form of music playing in the background is very good. And also to ease stress, to lighten a situation. There is a saying in Telugu, no? They say, "Patal paadukoni garchipoyindi." Rosanta, we went through it like a song. And if you notice, like agricultural laborers, they work in this heat. It's a lot of laborious physical, physical work, a lot of physical work. And if um, for them to ease that strain of physical pain, they resort to singing songs, and they also have, uh, a reply to a song. Somebody might ask a question and then they reply. It's like a very humorous way in which they work. They just make that laborious, painful work they lighten it by singing. And we have kind of lost it in the industrial world, and we can easily bring it back with a little bit of consciousness to include music in workspaces. And also to make you alert. Like I said, how the different parts of the brain, they become alert. A lot of times when a class is noisy, or people are tending to doze off, you just have to bring one song in class, and then the class is there with you. And to help you unwind at the end of the day, so many of us do this. We come home and we switch on the music, and while cooking, or while making a small meal for ourselves, we switch on the um, music. And also, of course, how can we forget lullabies to help us sleep better? So, this is a very beautiful way to put children to sleep, and also for us also to sleep even as adults. Music is a beautiful, beautiful, soothing way to sleep. Could you have some time? I didn't read the last, I can't read the last sentence. Anyway, we will take that.
And also to help you sleep better.
Yes. No, not my sentence. The sentence on the chat box, but I think we'll take it later.
Yeah.
My own sentence, I'm able to read better. Yeah. Yes. Okay. And yeah. I'll close my presentation here, but we have a lot to talk about, and it'll be better when we take in questions and discuss this better. Yeah, 1 minute, 1 minute. Yeah, after this, yes. Can we go to the next slide? Yes. So I just wanted to mention that in this book, I've given some examples of how music could be used, and also specific rhymes that can be used age appropriately. Like in this month, 0 to 3 months, what rhymes, and 4 to 6 months, what rhymes, and so on and so forth. So this is available on Amazon, and yeah, that's it. Next. Yes. Could we just check the chat box, please?
Yeah, ma'am. Yeah, it was an amazing session, ma'am, for sharing many unknown things about music. I think we have been having music in our day-to-day lives from our ancient times, but coming in these days, we are losing those things. And this session is very useful right now to the parents, teachers, and everyone on how music impacts in day-to-day life. Excellent session, ma'am. So before we move on to Q&A, I would like to inform the audience to take a 30 seconds poll. Yeah, please launch the poll. Yeah. Purpose of the poll is to help us understand you a little better so that we can better curate the topics that we bring to you. You can also let us know in the chat box how you found out about this Vishwa Talk, if you are a Vishwa Talk subscriber or heard it through your friends or family. So while you take the survey, I would like to express my gratitude to everybody who has joined us in today's session and making this session interactive. So I extend my gratitude to our speaker, Ms. Seeta Anand Vaidyam, for taking your time to grace the event. and to all the participants who have joined the session. And I would like to extend the gratitude to the Vishwa Talks team as well. Yeah. Ma'am, your video is tilted. Can you adjust your device?
Just
Yeah, while she does that, let us quickly go through our upcoming talks. So we have a talk on environment and ecology. And then the topic is composting made easy. Learn how to transform your waste into rich soil. This is by Pavani Lolla. She is a 26-year-old girl who has started Vapra Composting Solutions. And this is on 27th April, that is next Saturday, 11 a.m. And the next talk is on quantum frequency healing. Right now, all the healing procedures that are followed are chemical based, but there is a science which is from the ancient times, which uses sound waves and different frequencies to heal our illnesses. So this is by speaker Vikas Singh, and this is on 4th May and 11 a.m. Yeah. Now we can go to the question and answers in the chat box.
Yeah, just one. I just needed to add a few things before we go to the Q&A. I'm sorry for this. There are some specific ways in which we can use music in learning, not only in the lives of children, but learning even in adulthood. Is part singing. Singing in parts. What I mean by part singing is when we are in a group, you divide the group into 2 or more groups also, and you take one song and you make each group, we start the song together, but then you continue the song in different lines. Like when the first group is singing the whole group is singing the first line, and then the first group moves on to the second line, but the rest of them are singing the first line still. When the first group is going to the third line, then the second group is going to the second line, third group is still singing the first line. It's called part singing. So I have to be very aware of what I am singing, but I should also have the focusing ability to focus on what the others are singing. It's different from what I'm singing, but I need to be there. I also need to be here. It's a very beautiful technique that we follow in schools, and it works really well. I have to be aware of the environment, but I have to hold on to my principles. As simple as that, but teaching such a lofty thing through something enjoyable like music. So I did not mention this when I was explaining about how to use music in the classrooms, when to use music. And music need not be used only during a music class, but even in subject teaching. Please include music when you're learning a formula, when you're learning a poem, when you're learning history. Bring in folk music, bringing music from that part. Make music, create songs, write your own songs, set it to music in a simple manner, and I think you will be surrounded by this beautiful sounds, and which will enhance you in every way. Yeah, now we will take the questions, please.
Yeah.
There's one hand up. I can
Yeah.
see.
There's a question from Monica Kumar. She's asking, need to understand this intervention for children with ADHD and autism.
Yes. I will give you an experience. I was, this was almost 22 years back when I was first time teacher for young children. I have taught earlier also, but for very young children, I had never had that experience. And there was one child um, that would, we had plenty of music in our class, and everything would begin and end with music. And so this child would close his ears and come to me. So in the beginning, the others in the class would think that he doesn't like music. He would close his ears and come towards me. And but he would always come towards me. Every time I was singing, he would do this. And even if he was far away, he would shut his ears and then come. And this child was diagnosed with autism. He was on the spectrum. And what I understood in the beginning, which was not clear, what I understood is he's shutting off other sounds to hear me better. He's not shutting my sound off, but he wants to hear the song, the notes better, because as you know, in autism, their frequency of hearing is way too high, and they can hear different sounds all in equal frequency, which can be very difficult for them to concentrate and focus. That's one of the reasons even they have sometimes that could be one of the reasons why they have speech delay, or they mumble a lot, or they make a lot of sounds, because that's what they hear. So it was a big awakening to me. And in my journey as a remedial therapist, I've used music to treat children with AD and ADHD, and it's worked wonders. It's worked wonders because instead of telling them, listen to me, be careful, I have music classes, and I also make sure that they're all performing in a very small way at the end of the year. So they really have that zeal to listen and reproduce the sound. That itself automatically trains them to be attentive. In the beginning, they don't even have the capacity to sit still in class. I've had children running around. So what we do is we have movement and music together, so that we're not forcing them to sit down, because they're incapable of sitting down in one place for a long time. So what we do is we go to where the child is and then bring them to where we want them to be. So if I want them to be sitting still for a certain period of time, I can't start with that. I have to start with what the child is capable of. So I just go to where the child is and then slowly bring him to the target that I have. So yes, so definitely in the treatment of ADHD and autism, it is used. Also, there is something called ILS, Integrated Listening System. There is also something called Tomatis, and they use music of Mozart in specific frequencies and with specific headphones that will bring in bone conduction and air conduction. We hear through two ways, bone conduction and air conduction. And so through these specially designed headphones, they can bring down that frequency and bring up the frequency that you hear with. They can alter the, what is it called, dominant side of your ear. You can be left ear dominant or right ear dominant, and all these come under therapy, and I didn't mention too much about it. But definitely to treat children with learning difficulties, music is a super tool. It's fantastic. Somebody has asked if I'm a musician. I've learned music, but I'm not a professional singer. We have a professional music therapist with Ananda Foundation, and she does the classes. But I'm there to do the curriculum. I oversee the curriculum. Yeah, but I love to sing.
And we have a next question. How does these development stages work in hearing impaired children?
Hearing impairment, I'm not an expert. I will not be able to take that question. And but I have worked as a student. I have worked with deaf in the deaf school as a volunteer, and I remember that my mentors used to tell me to put my hand, put the student's hand on my throat here, near my voice box like this, and then speak. they used to tell me to put the hand of this deaf student, put it here so that they can feel that vibration. They can feel the vibration of the voice or the song, and then speak to them or sing to them. This is something I remember that I've done as a student, but I'm surely not an expert on uh, this hearing impairment. It requires something different. I'm sorry. I can't answer that.
We have Shailish. Yes, sir, you can ask your question.
Hello.
Yes.
So, madam, as you told about music, so just want to understand how its role on physical, mental, and emotional well-being. So, like when we sing, for example, if we take diseases, something like that, thyroid or acidity and all, or you told about that heart rates and all. So, what's the role of this music in physical, mental, and emotional health? And with that question, I want to ask you one more thing about Om, because Om is also a great people. I can see a lot of sounds with frequencies. So, what is the best frequency for a human being? Because it has been told everything is about frequency. So, what is the best frequency to upgrade ourselves to hear and for our well-being? Thank you.
I'll take, there are many questions in that. So one by one, we've already seen that emotional, physical, and mental health improves through music. I have shown it through my slides, but to reiterate this, that music has a bearing on our physical health, like you said, diseases like thyroid and various other ailments. While it's not like an overnight magic that happens and it cures overnight, constant exposure to music, regular exposure to music can definitely remove stress. And most of our I think I lost connection for a while. Can you hear me now? Are you able to hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, yes, I was just mentioning that most of our diseases are stress related. In fact, yesterday I was listening to a group of psychologists at Heal Education and Health Center and Seva Organization for Counseling. And Dr. Radha there was mentioning that 95% of the diseases are psychosomatic. So if we can relax ourselves, if we can bring down the heart rate and the breathing to normalcy, a lot of our diseases can be regulated or they can be reduced. So Radhika, am I getting cut still?
It's fine, ma'am.
Can you
Now
come
it
on?
is okay.
Yeah. So I was just saying yes. So that itself will reduce the incidence of diseases. And if you already have the disease, I guess it will, reduce the intensity. But this is not like something, something that's been really damaged. To revive it, music is not like a magic tool or something that can react overnight, but definitely it can help you. That's about music and disease. And then you asked about Om chanting. Yes, Om is actually, it contains three syllables, A, U, and M. And chanting is another aspect altogether, but very much related to sound and hearing. And when we do, as a remedial therapist, when I work with Brahmari Pranayama, it's actually internal chanting of Om. You can all put your hand to the top of your skull and produce this sound If you can hum, put yourself on mute and hum, and you will notice that you can feel vibration here. Like I already mentioned that we hear through two ways, air conduction through sound waves and bone conduction. So chanting really works on bone conduction. That is why in all religions we have chanting. When you have a problem, chant. That's what they say, right? You chant, some shlokas in Hinduism, or the Quran, or even in the Bible, there are verses that you chant, or there is Hail Mary, or different things that you chant. So what happens when you chant is you become very centered, you become very focused. The problems won't go away, but you have a better perception of the problem. There's more clarity on how to deal with the problem. I think that's what music can do, chanting can do. Yeah, so can we have the next question, please?
Yeah. We have Shmuel. Please unmute yourself.
Yeah. You hear me?
Yes.
Okay. A very interesting lecture. And I want to ask you how, according to you, music, impacts of music can support improvement, social well-being, social wellness of poor and low-income groups of population.
Yes. Yeah. I think this is, thank you for this question. It's such an important aspect. Today, socially, we are all so strung up, like in the sense, to be amicable is such an important thing for us to have peace in the world. When we talk about world peace, it's a very huge thing. But it all starts with small skirmishes, isn't it? Within the family, within neighborhoods, and within, smaller circles. And then it boomerangs into something very big. I think social peace is something so important. And music can really bring about that kind of community feeling, that feeling of oneness. And that's how we, in ancient times, that's how people built communities. We had songs for the village. You have songs for the family. We had these things which we are losing. And, we have a school song. When we have a reunion, we all have great fun singing that. And I think we need to find things like that. We hardly have an office song, right? We don't have a company song anymore. We have a motto which induces us to do this, or guides us to do this, but we don't have a company song. I think everyone here should start creating something like this for your own company, your own institution. It's very important. And why not have a Sunday song, Monday song, Tuesday song, whatever, have this and music can really bring that smile on your face. And even if you're making a mistake, it's not like as you have to be so proper. Even if you make a mistake, it'll bring people closer together, and you learn to sing in the right way. It brings about that social feeling. I think music is a huge tool to bring society together, to bring the social, amicable, peaceful environment. Thank you for bringing that aspect, which I did not explain. But, in most communities, like village communities, agricultural communities, they have these songs, weavers songs. They have, people who are doing these traditional professions, they all have songs that they sing while doing their work. And I think we should bring it back in our society. And it's not difficult. We can, do that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hope that answers your
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
We have Prajakta Tariq. Please unmute yourself.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Yes. Uh, First of all, good afternoon, ma'am. Actually, nowadays, that uh, concentration time span of the kid or children is becoming very less.
Hmm.
They're unable to concentrate for more of a time span because of many of the distraction they are having. And I just want to discuss with you: is there any remedy, or can we do something with music to increase their time span?
Yes, for sure. But before I answer your question, I want to ask you, why do you think that concentration? I agree completely that concentration span, attention span has reduced a lot, even among us adults. What do you think is the reason?
Because of studies only. Means they are lagging behind because of this distractions and all. I
We
am
also,
seeing.
as youngsters, had the same kind of studies, right? Or if even if not same kind, we also had to study. So,
Correct.
what is
But
it that is creating this lack of attention now? What is it? What is the culprit, you think?
social media, they are having many of the exposure which they should not have actually. But these things are uncontrollable, right? Means this social
No,
media and
we
all that.
think it is uncontrollable, but nothing is. We're not slaves to anything, right? We are human beings, and we have the discretion. So this is something I want us all to bear in mind. Number one, yes, we have the onslaught of social media. Even I am part of social media. I need it sometimes. But one thing is, how much of social media do we give children? Um, this attention span is something that I can't only focus on the solution. I need to understand where it is coming. That is why I asked you this question. It's not as if music will be a remedy. You keep doing the wrong things that you're doing, and then suddenly I bring music. I can't suddenly improve my attention. That is why I'm asking you this question: what is a culprit? Now, when it comes to um, social media, now we have one was videos and all that. Now we have reels. And what is the span of a reel? What is the time limit of a reel? Radhika, would you know, ma? What is the
It's 1 to 2 minutes.
exactly? So when I was promoting my book, my publisher told me, I want under 1 minute videos from you. I said, under 1 minute, what can I, tell people? That is the attention span, madam. That is the attention span. You need to quickly give it, and that's it. After that, nobody will look at it. So it's we have reduced our attention span to that by constantly exposing ourselves to this, and this is something um, we need to um, look into and remedy ourselves, because it's so difficult otherwise to bring a solution. Attention span, there's a lot of other things related to it, including your diet, processed food, electronic media, a whole lot of things go, stress, all this go into reducing attention span. Definitely music can improve attention span, like I mentioned about Mozart music. There's something called focus and concentration in that specifically, which improves. You can Google search, and there are also therapists that work with integrated listening system um, and Tomatis, and they can be sought out to improve uh, attention span if it's a very, very major problem. But simple Carnatic music or Hindustani music for that matter, putting them in music classes or even Western music, making them learn an instrument from a young age can for sure improve attention span, and it can help in improving concentration. But if all other things are going to remain the same, uh, music cannot create a magic and bring that. I want this to be very clear. We need to reduce electronic media time. That's very, very important. And even for us adults, it's very, see, today our shopping happens on internet, our research happens on internet, our entertainment happens on the internet, our communication happens on internet. So our social media time is like huge. If I want to shop, if I want to even if I want to build something, like if I want to construct something, I go on Pinterest, I go and look at videos. So we no longer do I go to a library and I don't go there to research. When I had to do my research as a student, I had to go to 3 4 libraries, refer to 50 60 books in each library, and then come to some conclusion. Today it's like available. Okay, this 2 seconds I read this, 1 minute I read this. That's how it is. So it's very difficult for us to improve our attention span when this is our um, just because there is an advancement, I don't need to use it all the time. So something not easy. It's surely not easy for young parents with young children, because when the whole world is standing upside down and I'm trying to stand upright, it's not easy. But you need to form communities. You need to first understand the harms of social media and electronic media, gadget time, not just social media, but gadget time, video games, a whole lot of things, right? So understand that, and then think of what all is involved in disturbing the attention span of your child, and then make amends. For sure, music classes will help. Yeah, next question, please.
Yeah, Mr. Praveen Kumar is asking your school location and any online consultation and classes for autistic child of age 9 years.
Yeah, I don't have a school. I am a freelance teacher trainer, but I am taking a semi break. It's not a break because I'm still working harder than usual, but I'm making a center for children with learning difficulties in Hyderabad, a little away from the main city. So I'm busy in that, and so I'm not taking in students one on one, but I'm still doing assessments, and I can share, Radhika can share my email ID, anandsita@gmail.com, ANANDSEEDHA@gmail.com. And you can reach out to me. I do online sessions, but for children with autism, it needs to be seen what is the level of the child, how imitative the child, and it's not easy for me to tell you just like this without seeing the child in detail, whether I can help or not. But I'm always there to guide you and put you on to someone if I'm not able to help you. You can reach out for an appointment through my email ID, please. Yes.
We have a question from Dhananjay Kumar. What should be the frequency and intensity and the type of music to be given? And by headphones or speaker is sufficient?
Yeah, so this somebody else also asked me a question on frequency, that he has 3 4 things, and one of that was frequency. The reason there is no definite answer is we need to assess your frequencies. So I am not an audiologist, but there are people, there are apparatuses that can assess and then accordingly prescribe music. So that is something that you need to go assess, get your child assessed, and then accordingly they will provide. Any headphone is not good. In fact, some of the headphones that don't give that clarity of music can be harmful. In fact, to have that constantly in your ear can be very harmful. So don't take anything, but go to a trained person. And, if you Google search, you will find. And if you're not able to, you can email me. And then depending on your requirement, I can put you on to someone. But this is something that needs to be done carefully. Generally, we listen to live music, it's very good. But otherwise, for 0 to 7 years, pentatonic notes like Mohanam Ragam in Carnatic music or Bhopali in Hindustani. They're very apt for 0 to 7 years, the pentatonic notes. And after that, you can listen to different ragas and different um, tunes. Also in Indian music, we have morning ragas, afternoon ragas, ragas for the night. We have ragas for summer, for the different seasons, for monsoon, ritu, according to the seasons, we have ragas. So they produce this kind of a feeling in our body. So you can be guided by those. But to determine the frequency, it requires very, very specific professional testing and help. Yeah.
So it is Mohanam Ragam and Bhopala Ragam, is it?
Bhopali in Hindustani. Bhopali. Bhopali. Mm.
And there is a question by Mita Singhal. Ma'am, children with sensory modulation disorder, so they hear louder of what we say?
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, many children hear very loud. They can for our voices can be very loud. Not only our voice, like right now I'm sitting in front of you. There's a fan running. There's also there are vehicles going on the road adjacent to me, and maybe someone's working in the kitchen, but I'm able to listen to Radhika's voice giving me the questions. I'm able to filter those sounds, but many of these children cannot filter these sounds. That is one of the reasons they cannot concentrate. Because if I hear everything equally, which one will I concentrate on? I can't. So that is one of the reasons for children who have severe learning difficulties, that they have a problem in concentrating and they need intense listening therapy. And it can bring a change to some extent, to a large extent in some cases, to some extent in some cases. But it has to be combined with other things such as movement. It has to be combined with diet and also physical exercises, specific physical exercises. All together will bring a change. And what was one more question to the same question? She said,
Do they hear louder is the question.
yeah, do they hear louder? I have answered. One more thing she asked.
No, that
That's
is
it.
the
Okay.
question. Yeah.
Yeah, I want to mention one thing. A lot of times, if you notice in a group, like when we are together, some people will be speaking very loud. Some people have a very, abnormally loud voice. You should understand that these people have a hearing disorder. They have an imbalance in hearing. When I can't hear well, I tend to speak very loud. So it's a red flag. When someone is speaking very loud, it's a red flag for that person. Somebody has to first tell them that they're speaking aloud. They have to become conscious and then treat themselves. Subject yourself to music and calm time, lot of pranayama, om chanting or any such chanting will bring down the frequency and will make you hear better. And this is a red flag when you're speaking very loud. Yeah. I hope that answers the question.
Yeah. So Divya Shastri is asking, I'm a Hindustani vocalist currently pursuing PG diploma in music therapy. I would like to know your opinion on the relevance of classical music in therapy, as a very few people can relate to classical music.
Mm. Classical music has a huge role to play because it, first of all, classical music, first of all, is very soothing. It has orderliness. There's a lot of, even in ragas, there may be permutation combination, but there's a pattern much more than in non-conventional music. In non-conventional music, I can put different notes in extremely random patterns. So for sequential learning, for bringing calmness, to bring that order in the body and the brain, classical music is most ideal. Even when I spoke about listening therapies, they use Western classical music, not any music. In the classical form, music is very orderly, and that's most ideal for therapeutic use. That's the most, for sure. People understand that the value of therapy in classical music. There's no doubt about it, and uh, it's great that you're training in music therapy, and I'm sure it'll be of use to many children.
Yeah. And Upasana Vaidya is asking, ma'am, how can we teach slokas to toddlers with joy so that they want to learn it properly
How can we teach shlokas to toddlers?
with joy?
With joy. For toddlers, we don't teach anything. We just expose them to things. So they'll just imitate. In the 0 to 7 years, the observational imitation is the biggest tool. So you just expose them. They'll be drawn to it. And you do it regularly, and don't overwhelm them. Do it in a phased manner. If you give too many things for a young child, even music, too many different songs, too many different ragas, it will not work. Less is more in early childhood. So don't teach toddlers anything. Just provide them with environment which is filled with music. Expose them to an environment with music. That's all. And one word of caution: expose them to music. So I said that. So you take them for a wedding or to a party or to a discotheque. There's blaring music, dog, 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 dog. Just put your hand to your heart and just see what happens. I'm not even exaggerating. You go to a pub or to where there's huge speakers, even weddings these days, and then you have this blaring, like someone said, no, people are not able to relate to classical music. Put this blaring rap or rock music and put your hand here, or put your hand here. You can see that there's something happening in your body. And please do not expose your children to such kind of music. I already spoke about the Chadni plate and what sound does to the shapes inside us, also to shapes in general, but organs, what it could do. It can be very harmful, especially young babies, toddlers. Toddlers will run. So small baby, they'll be in my hand. I can take them to any wedding very easy. Please do not expose them to such harsh music. The ENT connections are very tender for children. It can do a lot of harm to the ears when you expose them to this high, loud music and very wrong frequency music. Bass, too much of bass, loud, harsh music can be harmful. So when I say expose your children to music, it's not any music, but it has to be orderly, soothing. It need not be always sweet, soft. It can be peppy, but it can't be harsh. When I'm an adult, yes, I can listen to all kinds of music and still get away with it. But if even as an adult, I'm constantly listening to only rock music, it can definitely affect me also. If I'm too much of over listening to that kind of music, will harm even an adult. I hope it makes sense.
Ma'am, can you give a few more raga names for different moods, different situations to handle kids?
Uh, um, See, the 5 notes like sa re ga pa da sa, sa da pa ga re sa. This is called The Mood of the Fifth, and it's very, very calming. A lot of Japanese music, Chinese music is like. That you can get that note right. That's very, very calming. Um, I I mean, I know a lot of raga names that are personal favorites, or but I don't want this to be like you use this for calming a child. You use this. Neelambari is very good for sleep. It is very, very, very calming, and Neelambari is used a lot in lullabies, and um, I personally like Arabi a lot, um, and Sahana can bring in that. It can touch your heart, and yeah, we can. I don't want it to sound like a kind of a prescription for of ragas. So each one. Music is something so subjective, like any art form. I like a song, you may not like it. I like a particular raga, it may not ring the same, it cannot bring the same feeling in you. I might listen to a particular song and get tears in my eyes, but it's so subjective. So this is something that, but these are some of the things that I wanted to share. And there are ragas that have all the 7 notes, and they have some that have fewer. So we try and teach children that have all the notes, but for below 7 years, the 5 notes is very ideal. And then you move on to the complete ragas, and then you go on to the more complicated ones, which have fewer and more complex combinations of Arohan and Avrohan. Yeah.
There's a question. Do you have any training programs for parents as well?
Yes, we do have training programs. Now, what happens very often, schools call me, and then it's very easy for me to organize a workshop. But when a parent wants a workshop, they ask me in like 3 or 4 people, and it's very difficult to organize a workshop. So if you have a number of 10 people and above, then you can approach me and I can organize a workshop, and we can do that. And I prefer physical workshops simply because we can experience it. Like, see, I earlier when COVID started, we tried to sing together as a group, and it never worked because the time of relay, it's not the same, and we could never do that together. And I have organized concerts through Zoom, but only one person singing at a time. Even that is not the same as physical singing. So for workshops for parents, I would prefer physical workshops, and I do travel for workshops, so you can contact me.
So Miss Nanak Kaur is asking, ma'am, if we teach classical music to kids, they don't enjoy, and tell us that how will they enjoy? Tell the techniques.
Yeah. So classical music may not be boring. So if I'm going to teach them 1 or 2 months of only swaras, it will surely be boring. We need to bring in some element of lyrics. We need to bring small, short songs. And these songs need not be necessarily only in Indian languages. It can be in English. It can be about the season, whatever, or a festival. If it is Shankranti, bring a song on Shankranti, bring a song on Diwali, or Ugadi. Bring a song about mangoes. Bring songs about makabuta, corn, if that's the season, about rain. So that's how you create music, interest in music. And if it's going to be taught in this very boring way, children will get bored. I think I have used movement while they're singing Carnatic music. I have used tapping, I've used clapping, and I've used, very naughty, things that I'll trick the children, and then it's actually a fun game. And I might hide notes. I might write a note and hide it in a different room like a treasure hunt, and you just go, find that, and you have to sing that note. So you can make fun ways to teach music, and it's very important that we do it, especially when there's so much onslaught of rap and rock. I'm not saying rap is wrong, but overexposure to this kind of harsh forms at a very early age can be harmful. Otherwise, I've used rap in adolescent children, even to teach subjects. Nothing is bad or wrong, but the intensity, the frequency in which we use it needs to be consciously determined. Yeah.
So how can teachers integrate music into lessons and enhance the learning abilities of kids?
I think we already spoke about this, that it's like to use it in subjects. I gave examples of how you can use it in English, you can use it in math, you can use it for learning formula, for learning history or geography. What is the when you're doing geography, different countries bring different language songs, and learn that pronunciation. What does it mean? Bring Definitely teachers should use music irrespective of your subject. There is a way music can be brought in, and you should find ways of bringing it in. You can start every class with music, end every class with music. If you begin, then there's a lot of attention, and when you end, there's a lot of rest. When you end with music, there's a lot of rest. So I think it's very important to begin a class, irrespective of what it is, with music. You can find, we all think that we need somebody to write the lyrics. Just write 2 lines to, whatever you understand. If you are not musically inclined, get a music teacher to set the tune. From the next time, you will only be able to set a simple tune, borrow a tune, or, do it with your children. Don't be afraid. Have a little bit of planning, and then go ahead. I'm sure you'll be able to figure your way out. But teachers should and can easily use music. It'll be so much fun. Learning will be such a joy if alone music was included in every class. Yeah.
So is there any workshop for teachers as well, Ma?
Yes. All my workshops are catering towards catering for teachers. I also do parent workshops, but most of my workshops are for teachers. My book is also called Parenting Manual, but it is a guide, it's a handbook for teachers as well as parents.
And these days, many people come and say that they want to teach Carnatic music to or any good music to their children, but they are not finding good teachers. So why has that decline happened?
Because music, on one hand, has become very elitist. Like, a few musicians get paid a lot. All good singers don't get paid a lot. So the number of people who take it up as a profession has reduced. And also a few who excel, they take up singing commercially rather than teaching. So that is the reason the number of teachers has decreased. But it's very difficult to put the blame on the music community. We all together have, see, when there is a concert, how many of us pay and attend it, even if we can afford it? we will pay and go eat outside. But will you pay and go for a Carnatic music concert? And how much will you pay? There are a lot of forums that are coming up to encourage music and to sustain this interest in music. There's friends of mine have this initiative called Urban Bitek. Urban Bitek is something that they want in urban settings to bring this Sabha kind of thing without traveling too much and without having to pay so much. They're trying to bring. But I see that the people who want to contribute to that, you really have to enthuse people. Please come and some of these have a good response, but not many people are also aware of such things, and not many people understand how we all need to do our bit to preserve these art forms. We should attend concerts instead of taking children to the mall. Try taking them to a concert, right? If they're not able to sit for 2 hours, you tell them that for good 1 hour you're supposed to sit like this, and you try taking them first, expose them in your own homes, and then try taking them to concerts, and then come back and learn. Try to reproduce what you heard, or make it a little more interactive, not very academic, but make it more interactive and interesting for them to attend a concert. Yeah.
Beautiful. And Divya Shastri is asking, where are the teacher workshops conducted?
See, I'm a freelancer. I can conduct it at any given school or a premise. I'm also making a center in which I hope to conduct these things, but it will take me 2 years to complete that center. So till then, wherever people call me, I'm willing to go. Yeah.
Yeah. I think we have covered all the questions, ma'am. So we can end the talk. Yeah. So thank you, ma'am, for sharing your valuable insights in this session. I think many of the teachers and parents have benefited by this talk. And there were many acknowledgements saying wonderful talk. Thank you, ma'am. Excellent tip on avoiding hearing damage and many more. Thank you. Wonderful. Yeah, and few of them were asking like teachers are not able to attend. Can we have it in the evening times? We have a recording of this session. We will share it on the email, and we'll share speaker's email ID also through email.
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody had asked for a phone number. I very sparingly give my phone number. Is available in public, but when I'm in a session, I won't generally respond to a phone, and it's not easy if you send a mail, it's more elaborate and it can be addressed in a better way. So please reach out on email. And yes. Yeah, thank you. Is there some way that I can read the chat box comments, because I was not able to do it since I'm on the phone today and not on a laptop? Is it possible to?
We will share the chat to you later.
Yeah, thank
We
you.
can download it.
Yes, thank you so much.
So I would like to thank all the participants for attending. And lastly, please take a moment to subscribe to Vishwa Talks to get new alerts on new talks, events, and access to whole Vishwa community. And please follow us on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. See you all in next Vishwa Talks. Thank you.